Is it too cold? Is it? थोड़ा टेम्परेचर यार बढ़ा देना, ठंडा ज़्यादा.
Are we rolling at the back? All good? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the BCCI and the ICC, I welcome you to this ICC World 2020 press conference. On the head table, we have got BCCI Secretary Mr. Anurag Thakur and ICC Chief Executive Mr. David Richardson. Can you hear me? Is it clear? All okay? Okay. Please put your phones on silent. We have got mics on either side. Please raise your hands, wait for the mic and ask the question in mic. Mr. David Richardson will make the opening statement. Then Mr. Anurag Thakur will say a few words and then we'll open the floor for questions. David Richardson, please.
Thank you, Sammy. Good morning, everybody. Very well. You're very welcome to the ICC World T20. Hopefully the welcome is a lot warmer than the room is at the moment, but it will, I'm sure, warm up in a few minutes' time. The ICC World T20 is a celebration of cricket. Our objective, one of our main objectives in putting on this event, is to create an unforgettable experience for all involved in an atmosphere of unity, friendship and goodwill between nations. This is actually the biggest cricket event ever staged in India, involving 26 teams, 390 cricketers, 31 match officials, 57 matches, and across 8 venues. So it's incredibly challenging from a logistical point of view, but I would encourage you from today onwards to leave those logistical challenges to the BCCI and to ICC and to focus on what I think will be an incredible event. This promises to be one of the most open cricket events ever staged at international level, both men's and women's. If you look at the men's teams, virtually every team has got its match winners capable on their day of turning the result of a match in their favour. And I think anyone would be foolish to pick a winner of the event, even though I'm sure that the majority of you will say that India are clear favourites. I'm still holding out some hope that South Africa will do something at this tournament. On the women's side, past events we've always been saying who's going to win, England or Australia. Now that has all changed. You've seen India been able to beat Australia at home in Australia. South Africa have been beaten, the top teams have won matches against England and Australia. West Indies are extremely powerful, and I think for the first time ever, the result of a women's ICC event is very much in doubt, and I think that you will be amazed at the quality and improvement that we've seen in women's cricket over the last 12 months even, since the last event. We have focused on providing good pitches. That's where it all starts. If you've got good pitches, then it will lead to good quality cricket. And that's whether you're a batsman and trying to display your stroke play, whether you're a bowler trying to bowl in an attacking fashion, whether you're a captain who wants to be innovative and produce attacking results by different tactics and something unusual. So that's where the focus has been. And I'm sure we will not be disappointed whether it's seeing the batsmen coming to the fore, the bowlers trying to do their bit, and the fielding is always exceptional in the T20 format. Speaking of men's and women's cricket, this is probably the most integrated event held so far. So in the past, we have had the women and the men's event at the same tournament. But the women have always gone off to one particular venue, played all their group matches there, and it's only the semi-finals and final that have been held on the same day as the men's event. For this event, it is totally different. And I know Mr. Thakur, he was very keen to make sure that we spread the women's matches around all 8 venues, or as many of the venues as possible, and that we played as many double-headers as possible with men's events, so that we could take that next step in promoting the women's game to an even greater audience than before. You will have read in the media recently that 13 of the women's matches will be broadcast live. This is a change from previous events where the last World T20 we only broadcast 3, the 2 semi-finals and the final. Now 13 matches, women's matches, will go out live. I would like to thank our commercial partners, sponsors, our broadcast partners. Through their support, we will be engaging with fans from around the world in new and innovative ways. The matches will be broadcast across 200 territories, more than 200 territories, worldwide, with a potential audience of in excess of 2 billion people. And for this event, we will have unprecedented coverage of the matches through free-to-air platforms, such as SABC, Doordarshan, Channel 9 in Australia, PTV. So that's a first. And of course, this is the first event as well that is being shown by ITV TV as the actual broadcast production unit. And again, we have to bring you new, fresh graphics, a new look, expert commentators. And I think if you cannot get to the matches, then I think you will be very well entertained watching the matches on television. So what are the headlines? Let's celebrate cricket in an atmosphere of unity, friendship, and goodwill amongst nations. Let's recognize this is the home of T20 cricket. It's become the home of T20 cricket, India. And let's enjoy the quality of cricket, both men and women. And we look forward to seeing you all there at those matches over the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Mr. Anurag Thakur, if you would like to say a few words.
I think David had already covered up everything. महाशिवरात्रि की बधाई सबको बहुत-बहुत. Congratulations to Team India for doing well and winning the Asia Cup. And I think, which is a good thing to start before the start of the World Cup, India will start as favourites. As you have high hopes for South Africa, I have Team India who's done well recently in the Asia Cup also. As far as the preparations are concerned, we are all geared up, fully prepared to host the tournament. And we'll try and make it a memorable tournament. As Dave has rightly said, let's celebrate cricket. And what we have seen in the recent past, how T20 cricket has become so successful in India, I think the cricket fans love it. Especially when the Cricket World Cup will be held here. We see a lot of interest in the World Cup. The ticket sales are picking up. As far as the finals, semi-finals and the Team India matches are concerned, so we have a shortage of tickets as far as I could say, because looking at the stadia capacities and the requirement, that is more than 10 folds. So I think there is a big challenge what we have. But still we have tried to become more transparent and make it a fan, experience good. We went ahead with the ticketing process where we kept certain percentage of tickets to be sold online and through a lucky draw, which we started in front of the media only. And I'm glad many fans who have been lucky, they got their tickets. If you have any queries, I'm ready to answer that. I don't have much to say.
Thank you, Mr. Anurag Thakur. We'll take questions. Please raise your hands, wait for the mic, and then ask. First question. Yeah.
The Tribune newspaper. There is still some uncertainty surrounding two of the most popular venues in India. One is Delhi and another is Dharamshala. Where Delhi is still, the court has not given the permission to host the matches, whereas in Dharamshala, the ICC team, the Pakistan team, inspection team is already on its way to Dharamshala. So there is a lot of uncertainty about these two venues. So aren't the ICC worried about the whole situation, and don't you think that it's not the ideal start to the T20 event where you have ensured a smooth sailing to the build-up of this event, but it's very uncertain. So what's the ICC's response to all this?
Let me just say that challenges in respect of those two venues, they are there. We are dealing with those problems. The venues were decided some time back, close to a year back. All arrangements are in place to stage the matches at those two venues. These challenges have arisen not through the fault of the BCCI or the ICC, but the fact is, therefore, that we are dealing with them, and we are confident that the matches will proceed at those two venues.
Thank you.
Sir, this is Karishma from Times Now. My question is that the ICC ACU chief was recently quoted as saying that there is an international team that is under scanner for fixing future ties and certain players as well. Is that team a part of this World T20, and what sort of action has been initiated against the players or the team that is in question?
I think the statement or the comment was made by Sir Ronnie Flanagan, where he said that one of the teams was under investigation. I think we need to take that comment in perspective. First of all, we shouldn't speculate that it involves that there is any match fixing or anything going on with particular players or particular teams. Often we get our intelligence from players reporting various approaches that corrupt people have made to them. And for that reason, we are wary that, hold on, there may be attempts to corrupt players from certain teams to get involved in things they shouldn't. However, and therefore an investigation will result. But that's unfair to speculate that anybody or any team is actually involved in fixing. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in. There are corrupt individuals all over the world trying their best to get hold of players. We've also found that whereas we hardened the target of full member countries and made sure that every player from those countries was educated, we're now finding that the corruptors are now focusing on associate members, women's teams, etc., etc. So we've got to make sure that the players from all the teams are very well educated, understand their responsibilities, and will not get involved. I'm not going to speculate on which team. I think it's unfair. I can say that in recent times you would have read in the media that a particular player was suspended from this country, and the investigations relate to that same team.
Gentleman in the front, left side.
अनुराग जी, मेरा आपसे सवाल है कि जो भी अनिश्चय है दिल्ली और धर्मशाला के मैच को लेकर के, इसमें क्या मतलब अभी भी लगता है कि मैच में कोई कहीं भी कोई हो पाएगा नहीं हो पाएगा, कब तक क्लियर हो जाएगा एकदम?
देखिए, जहां तक डेविड ने पहले कहा कि दोनों ही वेन्यूज को मैचेस लगभग 1 वर्ष पहले अलॉट कर दिए गए थे, वेन्यू डिसाइड कर लिया गया था, और ना बीसीसीआई और आईसीसी की इसमें कोई उस तरह की भूमिका है। धर्मशाला में कोई परमिशंस की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन जहां तक सिक्योरिटी का सवाल है, वो प्रदेश सरकार ने भी एक कोर्ट में अपना बयान दे के कहा है कि वो वहां पर सुरक्षा उपलब्ध करवाएगी। और जहां तक डीडीसीए का सवाल है, यहां पर मुझे लगता है कल तक सारी वो औपचारिकताएं पूरी हो जाएंगी और जो समस्या कहीं ना कहीं नजर आती थी वो दूर हो जाएगी। मुझे लगता नहीं उसमें कोई ज्यादा दिक्कत आने वाली है, फाइनल भी हो जाएगी।
नीरू,
David, this is you mentioned, as you said in your response, that all the venues were decided 1 year in advance and arrangements were in place. Any other host, any such issues regarding uncertainties of the venues, there would have been a plan B in place and there would have been a shift, because now the T20 World Cup is about to start. So why is the ICC shirked from not taking a, clear decision regarding venues and the uncertainty? And why has it allowed to let the situation go on till such a last stage?
Well, as I said, the decision is clear. The decision is that for the matches to proceed at those venues which were laid out in the match schedule from the start. The speculation and uncertainty around the venues is created not by ICC or by BCCI. It's created by factors beyond our control. And obviously, because they have arisen in recent times, we find ourselves having to deal with them very close to the event, which is not ideal, but unfortunately we can't ignore them, and we're dealing with them as best we can.
Sandeep?
Dave, this is a question to you here. This is about the ticketing. You said that ICC has not been responsible. The way the ticketing process has been delayed has been a huge problem from fans from around the world. I think the teams had already landed in India and the ticketing hadn't yet started. So, what was the thing? Shouldn't there be a deadline where you put your foot down and say, now things has to start? And also a question to Mr. Thakur. You have repeatedly set deadlines for DDCA and they have not adhered to it. And besides that, I think you have given a too big a long rope to them. Why have you been so lenient with DDCA, and that's the reason that the issue has been dragged till now? First, Dave, please, about the ticketing.
Well, in regard to the ticketing, at every event, we have to rely on the host to take responsibility for the ticketing. It depends. One size does not fit all. In Australia, or in England, let's say, they're probably at the one end of the spectrum. The people like to buy their tickets up to 1 year in advance. In Australia, they like to walk up on the day and buy their tickets at the stadium gate. In India, it's probably somewhere in between. You'll probably find that there are some people who want to buy a little bit early and some people on the day. So we do rely on the host in that regard. Having said that, I think through force of circumstances, it is a fact that on many issues, preparations for this event were a little bit delayed through force of circumstances of the BCCI elections going back last year and some problems with venues. But that's where we are. And I can assure you that the BCCI have done a tremendous amount of work in recent times in making sure that the preparations for the event get back on track. And I have every confidence in their judgment as to how best to make the best of a very difficult ticketing challenge. I mean, as Mr. Thakur has already said, unfortunately, the demand for tickets for the Indian matches and for the semi-finals and final outstrip the supply by so far. I mean, any event anywhere else in the world, it's not as difficult a challenge as that. However, we know that there are a number of matches which are going to involve some exceptionally very talented and very good T20 teams that are going to take place, where there are plenty of tickets available. And we would encourage people to support the event in that regard, and if they do miss out on being able to go to the stadium to watch their Indian team, that they will take advantage of these other matches where you will see a quality of cricket not seen probably again in people's lifetimes.
Mr. Thakur?
Delhi is an important center, national capital, historic ground. So I believe all of you want the matches to be held here. And as Dave has said, that we have decided the venues a year in advance. Whatever reason was there, all of you are aware of that. But yes, they are about to complete that formalities and the matches will be held here. As far as the ticketing is concerned, I just want to add to what Dave has said. Indian matches, you have less supply, more demand. For other matches, whether you open that 1 year in advance or 6 months in advance, we all know that when we host the T20 matches or ODI matches, you don't open the window 2 or 3 months in advance.
But I guess it still just doesn't justify the tickets going on sale, I think 10 days before the event.
I think if you look at even if you look at the qualifiers game, even before, we started about 10 days before that. And online tickets for the ICC hospitality as well as for the overseas fans has been started before that.
Faisal?
Hello, Mr. Richardson. Hello, Mr. Thakur. I'm Faisal Kamal from AFP. My question is for Dave. Dave, we are celebrating this T20 extravaganza, but just from a purist perspective, is there a fear, or ICC is taking care of the fact that T20s are eating into the test space?
It is one of the major objectives of our strategic plan, which was agreed by our board a couple of months ago, that we want to make sure that all three formats of the game, Test cricket, ODI cricket, and T20 cricket, are going to be able to coexist well into the future, and not only survive but flourish. Having said that, we are now on the eve of a World T20 event. The T20 format is the format that we use to globalize the game, to really grow and attract fans, men and women. It's been tremendously successful up till now in doing that, and there's no reason why it shouldn't in the future. We're doing a lot of work in trying to position the three formats to make sure that they don't cannibalize each other. With Test cricket, the reality is probably, if we're looking at the number of countries that want to play 4 or 5 day cricket, we're looking at about 18 or 19 or 20. With 50 over game, it's probably increases to 30 or 40. With the T20 game, it's all 105. So that's how we want to position the three formats. You will have seen that the ICC board has recently agreed to review the cricketing structures, the bilateral cricketing structures, which includes Test cricket, ODI or 50 over game, and the T20. And one of the important factors there will to be try and make sure that the cricketing calendar, the time allocated to Test cricket, the time allocated to one-day cricket, is able to complement domestic T20 tournaments like the IPL, the Big Bash, CPL, all of these tournaments that are coming through, in a way that they won't clash with each other. And in so doing, I think we will be able to safeguard all three formats well into the future.
Gentleman in the front, left side.
Mr. Thakur, we believe that an inspection team from Pakistan was supposed to travel to India to take stock of the security arrangements. Any word on that? And secondly, most of the news that we've been hearing about that Pakistan is threatening to pull out of the World T20. Have the two boards actually spoken to each other about this current situation? And they've actually sought assurances from the government, and you're a member of parliament from the ruling government. Have you spoken to the government?
A couple of things are also news to me. All I want to say is security is, yes, in today's world, it's a concern. But we are committed to give foolproof security to all the teams. And India is capable of doing that. As I said earlier, we want to make it a memorable tournament, an event where the cricket fan should enjoy the cricket atmosphere, good quality of games, good quality of grounds, pitches, and overall atmosphere where all the 26 teams, men and women, can come and participate and make it a memorable tournament. As far as the security team is concerned, let them come out with the report. Then only it will be fair to say something on that. I think let the committee come out with a report. The team who is coming to inspect and give a report will be able to answer after that.
Payal, right side. Payal?
Yeah. Mr. Thakur, you know the venue and of course the state of affairs as good as anybody else. You spoke about the responsibility of the security primarily being with the state government, but the chief minister of the state has come up with different versions. On one day he said that they couldn't provide security. The second day when the home ministry said that they would provide additional resources, they said that they didn't need security. Do you think this entire matter is turning out to be a political slugfest more than anything else, more than logistics that you're talking about?
All I want to say is, when there was a PIL in the High Court, we were made one of the parties, the Himachal Pradesh Cricket Association. As a host, all we can give is a good ground, a good hotel facilities, a good infrastructure to host a cricket match to the standards of the World Cup. As far as the security is concerned, it is to the state government to provide that. And in the court, the state government representative, who is the AG, we very clearly, specifically said that the state government will provide the security to all the teams.
If I can perhaps add, I mean, this event is of national importance, I would imagine, to the whole of India. And there's no doubt that the Indian government has shown a commitment to make sure that the adequate security measures are in place at all the venues for all the teams. Having said that, understandably, I suppose, there will always be certain individuals who try and attract interest to their particular causes or promote their own interests. Certainly from an ICC perspective, if politicians or outside stakeholders want to get involved in cricket, as long as they are doing so in an atmosphere of promoting unity, breaking down barriers, encouraging peace and goodwill, then it's very welcome. If not, if they're trying to build barriers, break down levels of trust between nations, then it's not a good thing. And certainly I can assure you that the BCCI and the PCB are communicating, as are the ICC, with both parties. And just to reiterate that we will make sure that we do everything we can to ensure that the event takes place in a safe and secure environment.
We'll take 4 more questions. Front 2, middle right side and left side. Sanjeev.
One for the Dave and one for Mr. Thakur. We hope that and we wish that the Pakistan team, security team satisfies and the team comes here and plays in Dharamshala. But if in case they are not satisfied and they pull out of that particular match, then what would be the implication? What other option you have?
But why to answer on a hypothetical situation?
No,
let that situation arise.
No. Is there any sanction for that, and what would be the implications?
I think Mr. Thakur is correct. There's no point in speculating. There are various options that would be available, and those need to be discussed. Yes, we have got contingency plans in place, but it's only, I think, appropriate to speak about them when the need arises.
And Mr. Thakur, क्या आप जा रहे हैं वो सिक्योरिटी टीम जब वहाँ से आएगी, और क्या कोई खास उन्होंने डिमांड की है कि इनसे मिलना है, सीएम से मिलना चाहते हैं या वहाँ के सिक्योरिटी के पुलिस के चीफ से मिलना चाहते हैं?
देखिए, मुझे लगता है कि जो लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं, बीसीसीआई की ओर से, आईसीसी की ओर से और पीसीबी की ओर से, उनकी मीटिंग जिन अधिकारियों के साथ होनी है वो हो जाए, और जब वो मीटिंग पूरी हो जाती है उसके बाद जो उनकी रिपोर्ट आती है तो उस पर चर्चा की जा सकती है। लेकिन मीटिंग होने से पहले हम अपनी बात कहें, कुछ कहें, वो ठीक नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि सारा देश ये चाहता है, मुझे लगता है, कि एक अच्छा वर्ल्ड कप हो और एक यादगारी वर्ल्ड कप, और कोई ये नहीं चाहता कि इससे भारत का नाम खराब।
Amlan.
My question is to Dave. I'm Amlan from Reuters. How confident you are of a clean tournament, and whether all the measures have been put in place to avoid anything that can tarnish the image of the tournament?
I'm very confident that I presume you're talking about it from an anti-corruption fixing point of view, and any other actual perspective. I'm very confident that we will have a clean tournament. Sir Ronnie Flanagan would have briefed the media, I think yesterday. I know that our anti-corruption unit have been working hand in hand with the law enforcement agencies, the police agencies in India, to make sure that any information is shared. All the teams have been briefed, as is normal for every tournament. And as I say, over the last few years we've done a very good job in hardening the target, making sure that the players are aware of their responsibilities and are not open to any approaches that might in some way innocently involve them in this type of thing. So as I say, I'm very confident that the matches will all be played in the correct spirit.
Last 3 questions. Gentleman in the middle.
I'm from NETV. My question is for Mr. Anurag Thakur. Sir, India has been playing T20s from January now, first Australia, then Sri Lanka, Asia Cup, and now the World T20. So do you think that till the time IPL comes up, there would be a fatigue factor in that?
Yes, for this format, there's going to be a lot of cricket before the IPL comes. But all the players are professional. They know when to take rest, when to play, when not to play. But for any player, I think it's a great moment to play for the country. World Cup is a very, very important event. And we have planned in a way that before the T20 World Cup, they play enough T20 cricket rather than Test or the ODI cricket. So it has been planned like that. Whereas the franchises are concerned, they have a lot of options. It's not only those two teams which will remain till the finals, but there will be many teams which will go out of the semi-final round. So the only top 4 teams will be left till the end. So if you look at the total number of players, will be 64 or 60 players. And I don't see that reason coming as far as the IPL is concerned, that there will be a lot of fatigue. They can play other set of players in the first couple of matches. Rest can play after first 2 games. So I think a week or 10 days rest is a good period of rest.
Gentleman on the left.
Excuse me, Mr. Richardson, this is Shayan from the New Indian Express. I have a question for you. A lot has been said that, this Women's Cricket World Cup T20 will also be held at the same time. I just wanted to know that what are the areas that the ICC is working on to make that event a success, because we are not hearing much about that tournament.
Well, as I said, first of all, we want to promote women's cricket as best possible, and therefore we've increased the number of televised matches from 3 to 13. So that's a big change from the previous event. We've also provided added incentive to the women's teams. We've increased the prize money substantially. I think details have been previously released. I don't have them with me now, but I think that the winner of the World T20 walks away with $400,000. That's unprecedented in the women's game. But we're very proud of what we're doing for women's cricket outside of the World T20 as well. The focus has been on trying to increase the number of teams that are competitive at the highest level, and we are seeing that. Whereas, as I've said, a couple of years ago it was really Australia, maybe England who might win. Now you have 4 or 5 teams that can be competitive and perhaps even win the tournament.
Last question.
Mr. Thakur, Amrutaran from I-17. अभी की स्टोरी ये आई है कि वीजा को लेकर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है पाकिस्तानी फैंस को. गवर्नमेंट ने 300 वीजा इशू किए हैं फिलहाल, इसलिए ज़्यादा फैंस आ नहीं पा रहे हैं इंडिया. क्या ये इस प्रॉब्लम को आप कैसे आगे शॉर्ट आउट करने की कोशिश करेंगे? एंड सेकंड क्वेश्चन, मिस्टर रिचर्डसन, विल आईसीसी फाइन इफ पाकिस्तान पुल आउट?
As far as your first question is concerned, about the visas, I think if anyone buys tickets online, they have to apply for a visa. And here BCCI has no role to play in that. It is between the two governments, between the Ministry of External Affairs, who has to process their visas. If there is any such query, if any such complaint comes to us, we'll try and see what role we can play.
The second question was, if I understood you correctly, what will ICC do, or what will the reaction be if Pakistan pull out? Well, I don't think they're not going to pull out.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Thakur, Mr. Richardson.
I just want to add something. You know, in the very same hotel, Dave and Sachin, they started a campaign, Team Swachh, for the cleanliness drive. And the Himachal Pradesh Cricket Association has taken it forward and limited it to their state, called Swachh Himachal, Clean Himachal campaign. And we'll be picking 5,000 volunteers who will be contributing 100 hours every year. And they'll be given World Cup tickets and they'll be taken to the grounds, and the expenses will be borne by the Himachal Pradesh Cricket Association. So we'll have more and more volunteers to come out under that campaign for the Swachh Himachal. So that's what we have got inspiration from ICC after the Team Swachh campaign.
Very good.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen,
everybody.
lunch is ready. Thanks for your help.